What is up, YouTube? Welcome to this Logan movie review. So this has been a long time coming. Straight from 2000 we had the first X-Men movie, which introduced us to the world of X-Men, Wolverine, absolutely everything, the whole team. Until we had the X-Men 3, which was just goddamn awful. And then we had an X-Men Wolverine movie, which I kind of liked. I actually enjoyed that movie. I didn't mind it, apart from the whole Deadpool thing, which was, yeah, that's something else. And then we had a series reboot, and now Deadpool has given us the world of R-rated or 18-rated movies in the UK that are comic book movies. So finally, after 17 years, we have got a very, very violent Wolverine movie, which is what we want. And now, this has had a lot of press, just for the fact that it is a adult-rated movie. And now, I was worried that the violence would be just completely gratuitous, absolutely pointless, but in some parts, the violence tells a story of Logan, and this is obviously following the old man Logan kind of template. No, we haven't got like the Hulk, we haven't got a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but we have got a kind of parallel to real life thing with refugees and an America where there's a huge wall between Mexico and the United States. So there is that there. So we've got a kind of true to life thing. So the only real things that we have similar to that is the fact that we have got Logan, who is slowly dying. He is not as powerful as he used to be. His regenerative skills, they're pretty much non-existent due to, well, the adamantium in his body. And it's not looking good for our Logan. So there may be spoilers in this video, so I would probably kind of, if you don't want any spoilers at all, I wouldn't watch this video, because I may drop some spoilers here and there. So there is a spoiler warning here. So the story doesn't really follow the old man Logan story really all that much. It's more introducing the Laura Kinney X-23 sort of experiment girl in the movie, and well, Laura Kinney is actually the current Wolverine. She's the all-new Wolverine as of a couple of years ago. So that story, that comic is absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend checking that out. So this is sort of an origin story for our new Wolverine. I wouldn't be surprised if they pursue this and have her as the new cinematic Wolverine, because she was absolutely badass. And I can really predict, once this movie properly reaches cinemas, once this is a full general release, I can see a lot of bad press coming this way. Not for the, like in a negative way, not as in the film's bad, etc. It's more the fact that the girl in this movie, our X-23 Laura, is absolutely kicking ass. She is killing people left, right and centre. And we also see her get attacked by huge men, see her stabbed by a... I'll get to that part of the point in a bit. Let's just shelve that bit for now. But I'm kind of shocked at the level of violence in this movie. And I was like, whoa, that's good. So a lot of Easter eggs are actually in this film. So we've got the X-Men comics. We have the Reavers, who are actually run by a Hellfire Club member. So if you have seen the X-Men New Class, the First Class movie, you'll see Sebastian Shaw. He was the leader of the Hellfire Club, which is a sort of secret cable, a sort of secret society for mutants, very powerful mutants. And one of these members was someone who actually ran away to Australia and led these Reavers. And yeah, so it's not really that good for Wolverine, because this is a very powerful powerful team. But this character is played by the lead role from Narcos, and he really does do a great job in this movie of portraying someone who is just kind of morally ambiguous. I wouldn't say he was completely evil, he was just really doing his job, I would say, so to speak. So I did actually really think he did a good job in portraying this, and the violence was just superb in some parts, and it just really did kind of fit the story. It wasn't a movie that was violent for violence sake, as I said. So the story, now we get into this, so there will be spoilers in this part, so we get to see the fact that the sort of Weapon X program has been rebooted, and now that mutants have stopped really existing, they're sort of controlling the new breed of mutants and making them weapons, which, as predicted, it didn't turn out very well at all. So this is really Logan come to terms with his own mortality and having to raise this character, to raise this Laura as they go on a road trip to bring her to this North Dakota area, which he's convinced doesn't exist, and then turns out to be a sort of, I would say, lost children from Peter Pan, crazy, weird society. So the road trip was very good. One criticism I would say that this movie runs a bit too long. There are parts which could easily just be cut and could have cut down just for the sake of storytelling. The whole thing with Charles Xavier was really, really touching, and the moments between him and Hugh Jackman on the screen were just amazing scenes and great storytelling and acting, especially from the actors on their part. I've got to give them credit for this. Now, one thing which I didn't really like was the fact they didn't explain what happened. They didn't explain why Charles Xavier has gone on the run, and for a year they never really explain who died, what mutants, what X-Men died in this incident that happened in Westchester in America. So this is kind of why they're on the run, and Charles Xavier is actually himself as well. He has some degenerative functions which are causing a lot of issues, and he's having kind of, I would say, psychic seizures, which at some points in the movie actually come in handy for them, to be honest. So it's essentially just a huge road trip movie as these two come across this girl and want to take her and try and save mutant kind, which they sort of do. Now we have a weird... One thing I didn't like was the fact that the final play that these sort of... this company that's experimented on children and creating mutants is a CGI Wolverine, and they remake the Weapon X program and it's just a bit iffy. I didn't really like that. And one problem as well is we don't really see much of Richard E. Grant, who's a fantastic actor, and we don't see him right until the end. You mean you've got such a big name, you haven't used him or brought him into the thing. It doesn't really seem like he's controlling things, but, well, he actually is. Now, there's a lot of fan service moments. We see lots of iconic things, which is the older the head. We even see the sword from the Wolverine, which is when he got that in Japan. There's just all kinds of cool Easter eggs. We've got the blades that Laura Kinney has in her feet and her fists, which was pretty neat as well. So overall, I think it's a great movie. Just ran a bit too long, to be honest, and I feel like they could have fleshed out the story in this time a bit more, considering it is almost 2.5 hours long. So it's a long ass film there, to be honest. So it's a bloody long film. And we've got Caliban as well. Stephen Merchant was great in the role, I think. Bit surprised to see him such a wisecracking role there, and what was cool was when we had our enemy speak to him and say, "Oh, I read about you when I was a kid." He went, "No, you're probably talking about the wrong person," which is quite funny because we actually had Caliban in X-Men Apocalypse. So that's interesting as well. And what I find weird with the timeline as well, so we've got 2024, which was Days of Future Past, when we see that brand new kind of craziness there, that post-apocalyptic future sort of thing with the Sentinels, etc. Then we've got a couple of years later, everything kind of ends. So it kind of undoes all the work of the previous films, but if you look at this as a standalone movie, which is what you should, then you're going to really like it. So that's it for this video. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.